It says we're live. We're live in only one place.
I think it's. It might be my channel, which is fine because I don't necessarily need it to be live anyway. As long as the RetroLogic channel is live. Let's see here. Yep, RetroLogic is live, so we're good.
We're alive.
5 is alive.
Okay, just get right into it then.
Yep, let me find the music. Flightsy's already in here.
Of course.
It's all we needed.
Going minimalist, yes.
All right. Are you ready?
I guess.
Here we go.
Welcome to RetroLogic. I'm Sam Wagers here with John Cummins, and it's just the two of us tonight. Yeah, we're going on with it. And of course, the other host will be back next time. I was not really expecting to host tonight, so if I'm a little out of sorts, I'm still not used to the live thing, to be honest. It's still kind of...
It does take a little bit.
Sets me on edge. I'm like, wait, I have to wait for the music, and it's still playing, and I'm talking over it, and I don't know. It's weird sometimes. How are you, John?
Oh, pretty good. I was going to say, we still have the Rampage with us tonight.
That's true. The Rampage is always with us. Which we've been calling them the Rampage Trio, but I mean, it's a robot, a dinosaur, and a ghost. And there's not really a robot in Rampage even, or a
No,
ghost.
I need to.
Lizzie, I guess, is kind of a dinosaur, but really just a giant lizard.
I guess I really need to find somebody and commission a Rampage artwork with the Rampage trio.
Well,
And they could be like destroying like a
somewhere you
RetroLogic
have
studio.
I made a beautiful doodle of Deus Ex Machina
Yeah, I don't know where
that
that is
nobody
at.
paid attention to.
That might be lost to time. It's probably in the Discord somewhere. I think
He had a
Discord saves everything.
Famicom disk system for a head. It was
Okay.
the greatest piece of artwork I ever created.
Well, we'll have to
I'm
find
not
it.
that good at drawing.
We'll have to find that, and then we'll have to grab the Leonard the dinosaur from the sticker, and then also Poltergeist has a sticker.
Yeah, Dan made those. They're a lot better than my random doodle.
I mean, we
on
already
graph
have
paper.
working designs. We can just have somebody kind of bring them more to life in a poster or something. Maybe I can replace my Rampage poster up here with them eventually.
Maybe. Yeah. But RetroLogic is not just a podcast, and even when there are only two hosts on the show, there are lots of cool people hanging out in our Discord, which is the place to be these days, I hear. And we have giveaways and contests and a whole family of retro podcasts like Retro Groove, On Topic Retro, and Film Logic. And you can check all those out on our website as well. Even if you haven't, there's a great back catalog. A lot of this content, because it's retro content, really is timeless.
Yeah.
it's always time to talk about great stuff from the past, whether it's music or movies or games, and it's a good time hanging out with people in the Discord too.
Definitely
Uh,
more timely than like a current events podcast because it kind of lives in
yeah,
that moment.
which is a bit ironic because we will be talking about some recent news. Our
Yeah.
topic for tonight is the discontinuation of the physical discs from Sony, specifically physical media and digital media, and preservation always being hot topics in the retro space. But before we get to that, any other housekeeping? I do believe that this Saturday is RetroLogic game night. At least
Let's
that
see.
is the scheduled second Saturday,
No,
third Saturday.
seconds.
Is it second
Second
Saturday?
Saturday. Did we miss it?
If that's the case, we missed it. It says Saturday, September 12th. Yeah.
Or did we do it?
I
And
think
we're
we
just
did do it.
we did do it. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
guess
It just
my
was
wires are.
early.
I think my wires are crossed because Nintendo Dad's dinner table was last Friday. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so I
For
guess
some reason, I
really
was thinking it was this Saturday, which is good that it's not because I probably wouldn't make it.
I'm also glad that it wasn't last Saturday because then that would have meant that I missed it. And I was like, man, I don't remember missing. I guess the way to think about it
Second
is we do our
Saturday.
game
Yeah.
night and then the dinner table's the next.
Yeah, it feels like the last one was longer. Well, game night will happen Saturday, September 12th. And yeah, we decided last time we will be playing Killer Queen Black because it is available for free on Steam in an
This is
eight-player
true.
game. So hopefully we can get at least a full squad for that. If
Hopefully
we
we
get
can get a
more people, we
snail
can always
victory.
break out into two lobbies and
Yeah.
remix it as things go in. People drop in,
Does
drop out.
the Steam version support all 8 players or 6 players? It's 6, right? 3 on 3.
It's 8.
Is
Killer
it 8?
Queen Black is 8. Yeah, the Killer Queen arcade game I believe is 5-on-5.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't think we've ever had more than 8 people. So I think we would probably be able to stick to one lobby. And like I
Flightsy
said,
has found my doodle.
oh, nice.
To be honest, it doesn't look as good as I remember it in my head, but that's fine. It's still there. It's still there in the podcast chat channel. See what you miss
I
on
love
Discord. You get my stupid doodles and my rants about pistachio ice cream, and also other insightful commentary from other people.
So yeah, the only other thing I could think of is we just wrapped up the black box contest for Retro Rewind Champions. We had 2 winners. The first winner was an informant, and he won the high score. So he had the most points out of all the available points. And then we had, I believe, 6 or 7 entries that got entered into a lotto just for submitting a entry period. And the winner was Chris HL, which is nice because it's always nice to be able to provide some prizes for not just our Canadian listeners, but just listeners outside of the US. It's a lot easier for me to send a digital gift card than it is to physically send something outside the
You're not
country right
mailing
now.
through customs.
Yeah, because I've done that. I mean, I've there have been times where somebody has won a prize. I think I've shipped something out to Australia to a winner before. So yeah, it is definitely nice to be able to send a digital card. But yes, so those were our winners. I do feel kind of bad. I wish Nintendo made like a $15 eShop card because I think the $10 Canadian eShop card was like $7 here. So I feel like I got away cheap buying one. And then
Yeah.
the next one up is like 25 or something like that. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, I was like, I guess I'll just owe Chris $3 on the next time I give him a prize.
And I guess the other thing I can say, because I do intend to continue it, is last Saturday on the Discord, I streamed to Discord just to kind of try that out as a difference. I'd streamed to YouTube in the past. This wasn't recorded, so this was more of just kind of a hangout. And I might pursue more of that in the future. So keep an eye out for that. Probably Saturday nights when it's not game night. I may do a little bit more of that. More casual, not recorded. Kind of just an open invitation for people in our Discord to come hang out while I'm playing something. So this last Saturday, that was X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. I actually played through the whole game. So that was pretty
Nice.
fun.
Yeah, you were still going through the same stage whenever I popped in. Like you were doing Gambit stage, right?
Yeah. Well, the beginning of the game's a lot smoother, I find, but the end of the game is kind of weird. Nobody will ever know what happens, says Flightsy. Exactly. What happens in Stream Logic stays in Stream Logic. That's
That's right. No one talks about Stream Logic.
please, keep it polite, I guess. Lest anybody get the wrong idea about what we're inviting there.
What happens in Stream Logic?
Yeah. I immediately regretted saying that. Anyway, we should play The Price is Retro.
We should.
All right, if this is your first time playing The Price is Retro, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you played before? But this is how we play. I'm going to list off 4 or 5 games. Everybody guesses on how much the lot is worth in total. Whoever is closest to the game's actual value wins the round. Everyone has a list. Everyone guesses on each other's lists. And at the end, the player that won the most rounds wins the episode. But watch out for the Rampage Trio, our robot Deus Ex Machina, who averages all our guesses, both our guesses, I should say, tonight, together to make his own guess. Leonard the dinosaur, who adds up the original retail value approximately, and Poltergeist the ghost, who just always guesses 300. And we will see if John and I can at least beat them tonight, as well as each other.
I
We
feel like
also do
Leonard.
have.
I was gonna say, I
Leonard,
feel like Leonard has made like the most epic comeback. He used to
yeah,
be like the
he has.
worst.
Well,
To now he's
I
just
think
racking it up.
as we got past all the like super expensive games, we kind of moved into that lower price bracket with a lot of our lists. So it's been a lot
He's
better
been
for
cleaning
Leonard
up.
since he tends to hover around like 180 or so.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, almost no matter what console you're picking, really. But we do have a guest list from Flightsy, which he says is a back to school special.
Ooh.
So he actually wants to know what we're expecting. I am expecting, and I am not looking up the price on this, I am expecting a Big Brain Academy game on that list.
I don't know. I could almost expect Fire Emblem Three Houses, but I don't know that Flightsy would.
Well, that could be.
I don't know if Flightsy would go
I don't
that
know.
way.
Switch games are still. I mean, I guess the
Uh,
prices could be kind of. And I don't know.
right
Is
now
there a
they're in
special
flux.
edition on that? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're probably Fire Emblem games get the special editions.
I mean, it's a school. Maybe we'll get a Harry Potter game on there.
That's true. You could go any angle with that, or maybe like I don't know, games featuring school supplies.
That would be Paper Mario, right?
Yeah, Paper Mario.
All the
Especially
which one? Which Origami
was it
King
Origami
had.
King?
Yeah, they had all
like
the
the scissors and stuff.
stapler
Yeah,
and
they were the main like bosses.
yep. So I guess we'll have to find out who's going first.
I'll go first because
Okay.
I have my list right here, and this is a fun list. I think I was sharing again. I'm really plugging the Discord tonight. I was sharing in the Discord a game I had that still had a price sticker on it. And they're ugly, but sometimes it's really fun when you look at that price sticker and you're like, man, you would not find that deal today.
No.
So my list is all games that are in my collection right now and have price stickers on them that I never took off. And I actually have those prices, but you're guessing the price charting prices. So
Okay.
for current price and condition. So number one, I have the game that started this, Biker Mice from Mars for the Super Nintendo, loose. Number two, Castlevania Lament of Innocence for the PS2, complete in box. Number three, Wario Land Shake It for the Wii, complete in box. And number four, Armored Core 3 for the PS2, complete in box.
Okay. So I think I'm going to go 175.
Okay, 175. And there's nobody else to guess. As Flightsy has pointed out, this actually means our robot just guesses your guess because it's the average of a set of one.
Yes.
So I guess he just sits out this one.
Yeah, no
because
robot.
There's no fair way to do that. This makes it 2v2 for humans versus AI. Yeah. All right. So that is your final guess. I guess it's really just comes down to which one of us guesses closest, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
This is OG rules, right?
Has to be, yeah, because this is what
Back
Dan
when
and I
it was
used to
just you
do.
and Dan. Yeah. So the total, you're pretty close. It's 201.47. $201.47. The breakdown on that, Biker Mice from Mars, $100.59. I have a sticker on it that says $3.99. So that's a trophy at this point. I'm not taking that sticker off for a while, at least. Castlevania Lament of Innocence for the PS2, $42.49. Oh, that's true. Since we have Flightsy's list, then whoever wins his list by the standard rules, that would be the real winner because we both. Well,
Yeah.
no, because we could lose to the Rampage trio.
We could, yes.
We could lose to the Ghost or to Leonard.
And actually, I did lose
the
to Leonard.
Oh, Leonard's on a hot streak.
Yeah, because he guessed 210.
Yeah, so he's off by
Yeah,
$8 and
$8.53. Yep. So I've already gotten beaten by the dinosaur.
It's not looking good for humanity here.
No, it is
'cause
not.
They get to guess on all three lists.
Yep.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Castlevania Lament of Innocence, $42.49. My sticker, $21.95. Wario Land Shake It for the Wii, $20.91. My sticker, $17.99. Armored Core 3 for the PS2, $37.48. And my sticker is $29.95. So the total from my stickers is actually $73.88, which is less than one brand new game these days.
Correct.
If you're talking the $80 stuff, anyway, which I am still not used to.
All right. So I guess I'm next.
Yep, I guess you are.
So, thinking of the topic for tonight, I grabbed some PS3 games that are all on discs that are good games that if we didn't have physical media, you wouldn't be able to play on a PlayStation. The first game is 3D Dot Game Heroes. I don't know if you're familiar with this game.
Nope.
So these are all PlayStation 3. They're all complete in box.
Okay. Okay.
3D Dot Game Heroes. You'll have to look this up. This would be right up your alley if you had a PS3. The second game is Azura's Wrath, the old Capcom game. Sure, you have seen this.
Okay.
Third game is The Puppeteer. And the fourth game is Spider Man Web of Shadows.
Okay. I am gonna guess $190.
Okay. So the total of my lot is $740.81.
Oh wow. So the ghost is gonna take that one.
Yep. So we've already lost.
I have not been up on my PS3 games. I didn't know there were
we haven't
many of
really
those that
been
were...
doing a lot of PS3 here lately. These are all some pretty expensive games. 3D Dot Game Heroes is $125.50 complete. Azura's Wrath is $170 complete. Puppeteer is $191.81 complete. And Spider-Man Web of Shadows is a whopping $252.50 complete. I'd be curious because I didn't really look it up, but I was wondering what the Xbox 360 counterparts to I know Azura's Wrath and Spider-Man Web of Shadows have Xbox 360 ports. I don't think the Puppeteer or 3D Dot Game Heroes does.
No,
I could be
I'm pretty
wrong.
sure Puppeteer is PS3 exclusive.
That's what I was thinking. But I was I'll have to go back and look after this to see if Spider-Man Web of Shadows for the Xbox 360 is anywhere near that price.
I mean, I'm tempted to look at it now. Complete $124.99. So it's about half. It's still what I'd consider high. Too much to spend.
Way
for
high
me,
on an Xbox
out of my price
game.
bracket for just about anything. If I'm being honest,
I agree.
Any individual game.
I think
the most I've spent on individual games is probably about 100.
Yeah, I don't think I paid maybe $40 for this game. I did buy it used, but a long time ago. Way before it spiked. All right, so I guess we're down to Flightsy's game.
Yeah,
we've already
maybe
lost.
Redeem ourselves a bit, but we have lost to the AI. Your guess was much closer than mine, so between the two of us, you have the lead.
All right.
Back to School Special, which is going to be 7 games. Oh my.
All right.
I'll probably have to
have a recap because I got to run the dyno at the same time.
Yeah. Game number 1, Donkey Kong Jr. Math for the NES, and it is graded.
Oh, good night.
Is that an average of all graded? Because, I mean, it doesn't say what the grade is.
I think it just... Yeah. Price charting is really weird on graded. They just have one category for graded, and it doesn't necessarily...
So it looks like these are all going to be graded, I guess, because when you go to school,
it's school teacher
grades.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Donkey Kong Jr. Math is already a pretty expensive
Donkey
game.
Kong Jr. Math for the NES graded. Oregon Trail for the Mac graded. Doki Doki Literature Club Plus for the Switch graded. So these are educational games, but also Doki Doki Literature Club, which just takes place in a school.
Yep.
Portal 2 for the 360 graded. Okay, it takes place in a testing facility. Wii Fit for the Wii, the balance board bundle, graded. Mario Paint mouse bundle for the Super Nintendo, graded. And Guitar Hero guitar bundle for the PS2, graded. I almost want. Okay, I think I see what he's doing with the list too. These are all meant to match different subjects, and that's probably why there's 7. In a lot
Yep.
of schools, you have seven bells or 7
Yeah,
periods.
music.
So you have math, history, English or literature. I guess what would Portal be? Science.
Or
Gym
STEM.
or PE for Wii Fit, art and music. Guitar Hero, Mario Paint.
Okay, hold on. I got to think about this for a second.
I have no idea. They're graded. This is not any. I prefer not to think about the price of graded games.
All right, I'm just going to go based off averages of what I think of like everything. Okay, so do you want me to go first or you go first?
Sure, you go first.
I'm gonna do 2,500 or 3,500. I'm just gonna go an average of 500 per game.
$3,333.33.
33333. Okay.
So I guess if nothing else, I was spot on about the different subjects. Contemplating adding something for lunch as well, but that feels like stretching things. I mean, you could have
put a Cooking Mama
restaurant tycoon or Cooking Mama in there. I'd allow it.
Cooking Mama would also work for like home economics, which I don't even think they call it that anymore. I'm old.
No, it was called, even when I was in school, it was called life skills.
Yeah, I think so.
My mom actually used to be a home ec teacher, though.
I was gonna say, when I was in school, it was still home economics. All right. What do we got from Flightsy here? Or is it still coming in?
I think it's still coming in.
I like how Adam says that is too many games.
It's okay. I mean, our standard is 3 to 5, but you know, it's good. It's really good for us to have a guest list anyway.
Yeah.
Tonight,
no, I
since
don't.
we only
I don't. Flightsy never has a limit. I think he's done like 10 games before.
I mean, to be honest, I usually try to just add things up in my head, so it does get a little bit. But when you get this many and I know I'm super far off on one of them, I just kind of throw a number out there. I'm not even thinking that hard about what would my individual guesses would add up to.
That's why,
especially because I have a suspicion that graded Donkey Kong Jr. is going to be like 90% of the total.
Oh yeah, it's already an expensive game before graded.
So like how much, Wii Fit or Oregon Trail come up to probably doesn't matter. I could be wrong. Maybe graded copies or Mac copies, but Oregon Trail is usually dirt cheap because it was everywhere.
Oh yeah, there's a billion of them out there. Are they coming through?
I have not seen. Oh yes, I had to scroll down.
Oops. Oh gosh, I just looked at it.
Math: $13,195.60. But I did beat the ghost. He was even further off.
I hope so.
So I win this round. I had the highest guess.
No, you said 33,000.
I said 3,000, right?
You said 3,333.
Yeah.
I said 35.
Oh. Why did I think you guessed 25?
No, I did. I said 25 at first, but I meant 35 because I was doing an average of 500 per game.
Paying attention when you changed your guess.
I mean, it
All
was
right.
almost
All right. You
instantaneous.
win this round then. You win this round. But it's still
You
Rampage Trio 2, John 1, Sam 0.
100%. Do you want to go
So,
through the
yeah,
breakdown?
history $27.48, English 142, science 97.49, PE 55, art 388.30, $388.30, I should specify. Music $780. I'm actually surprised Guitar Hero is that much. Um,
It is the
but I
guitar
mean, it's
bundle.
graded. Yeah, the guitar bundle still. I mean, generally the really popular games that deflates
I
the
don't.
price because of copies
Yeah,
in
I'd be
circulation.
curious to see how many people still have their Guitar Hero bundles from the PS2.
But it would be a weird thing to keep
Yeah, all of
the
it
whole
new.
bundle and have
Yeah,
it like graded.
it has to be
Um,
new.
it has to be new to be graded.
I think
Has to be
so.
sealed.
Uh, I believe. Well, to get like a good grade, maybe
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure if it goes into two different systems that way for sealed or complete. Uh, I definitely know like a lot of them are new when they're graded.
So at the very least, I was more or less correct that Oregon Trail was not much. 27.48.
Yep.
Um, Doki Doki Literature Club. I'm not too surprised at that. It's a Switch game. I feel like especially graded has not become crazy for Switch, but I could be
The
wrong on some of
the
those.
Xbox One version of that game is like $300 right now, ungraded.
Okay,
So I don't know
kind
what
of
I don't know if it
crazy.
was just like a limited like I could have swore that that was like a game that you could get for $30 or for almost free for a very long time. Like they were just trying to give it away to people because nobody buys Xbox One games.
Mario Paint, not that much, at least by graded game standards, but it is the mouse bundle. But at the same time, I don't know if it's still the case, but for a while, the cheapest way to get a SNES mouse was to find a Japanese copy of Mario and Wario because
Yeah.
that also came with the mouse, and it
Yep.
was like dirt cheap when I bought it. I
The one
already had
that's
the mouse, but
the one that surprises me is the Wii Fit with the fitness board is only $55 graded. Like that's insane.
yeah, I mean, it was the same thing though. I mean,
At that point,
plenty
it's
of
not
those
even
in
worth.
circulation.
Well, I don't think it's worth grading at that point. Like, who's going to have that graded if it's only worth $55?
Somebody who thinks it will eventually be worth more.
Because I think at that low, you're not even hitting the point where they would charge you like a percentage of the grade. Like, it's just a flat fee, and that
Yeah,
fee is probably more than $55.
it may very well be.
You may have paid somebody to have it graded. It's not even
It
worth
may
as
very
much as
well
what you
be. Well,
paid.
thank you for the list, Flightsy. Fun theme as always. That's always the fun part. Half the fun of Price is Retro, I think, is finding fun themes. Um, my personal favorite I ever did was the games that were in cereal boxes. Um, that's that. I wish I could do that again, but there's only so many.
There's only
Um, Yeah. I do have a spot the fake list, which I think is perfect for tonight since we don't have Shannon here with his trivia cards.
I was gonna say,
So,
since you
how
didn't think he would
confident
do that
are you,
good.
John? It's just you. How confident are you in your knowledge of Castlevania enemies?
Oh gosh. I'm
Because I
not
recently played through the Dominus collection
and you had to
and
look them
I
all
have
up.
Castlevania on. Well, some of them I encountered in these games. But I have four whole rounds here of Castlevania
I
enemies. Now, the fake will be any will it will be the case of the real ones that some official Castlevania source, either the manual or the game itself, because most of them actually list the names of enemies in game. They'll
yeah.
usually pop up when you defeat an enemy in the later like Metroidvania style ones.
Yeah, just not in the
Um,
early ones.
but some official source will refer to them by these names, except for the fakes.
Okay.
So round one is going to be spooky, scary skeletons. These are all skeleton enemies. So we have number one, skeleton farmer. Number two, skeleton biker. Number three, whip skeleton. Number four, axe skeleton. And number five, skeleton frisky.
I kind of want to go bike skeleton
Skeleton biker.
or skeleton biker.
Skeleton biker is what I have listed here.
Yeah. Just because
Skeleton
I don't.
biker is real.
Oh, is he
and
in?
Can be found in Castlevania 64 and Legacy of Darkness.
Okay.
Actually, I could give you a second guess since it's just you.
No, it's okay. I don't want to do that. We'll just go through them.
Drag it out. The fake is the axe skeleton. Skeletons apparently are not allowed to have axes, probably because one of the staple Castlevania enemies is the axe armor, and they don't want skeletons cribbing that style, I guess.
Co-mingling with the armor.
But my particular shout out goes to the whip skeleton. He's had a bunch of different names throughout the years, including Simon Wraith, Shyman, or Helmont. So evidently Dracula really thought there must be something to this whip thing since he keeps dying to it. So
he's given
he decided to start giving his skeletons whips, which is kind of funny on its own. So round two, I have non-human skeletons. We have number one, the skeleton wolf. Number two, the skeleton ape. Number three, skeleton monkey. Number four, skeleton tree. And number five, skeleton flower.
I'm going to go skeleton flower.
Skeleton flower is real.
Oh, my
Oddly
word.
enough, even though flowers don't have skeletons.
Well, neither do
I can't
trees.
make that up. The fake one is the skeleton wolf. There are wolves, but no skeleton.
No skeletal wolves.
Wolves and wargs, matter of fact. But my favorite in this list is the skeleton ape, who has been in a bunch of games. Yep. He throws barrels.
Oh, yeah.
Dracula made a Donkey Kong.
I remembered him.
He's hard to forget.
I did not remember a skeletal flower.
All right, round three. Keep it moving. No more skeletons. These are just various mythological creatures / cryptids. Well, the first one is, I don't even know what this is. I looked it up in the past. Number one, well, I guess that gives you away.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's real. Number one is Shmoo. So you can cross that one out. But Shmoo is what he's called. Number two, Quetzalcoatl.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, Wendigo. Number four, Catoblepas. And number five, Jersey Devil.
I'm going with Jersey Devil.
Jersey Devil is real.
Oh my gosh.
The fake is the Wendigo. So the Wendigo, I think, fits in this list, but never been in a Castlevania game. It seemed to be something in the later games they incorporated, and they're usually really rare enemies, but like Sasquatch, Mothman, and Jersey Devil. Sometimes there's side quests related to them, so these show up a lot in the Dominus, the DS games. In Order of Ecclesia, like those three, you're tasked with like taking pictures of as a side quest. It's kind of weird, but there's usually like weird conditions for even making them show up. But yeah, the Wendigo I thought was a clever one that seems like it fits.
It does fit.
Also, Shmoo, I don't even know where that name comes from, but he's very important because in Symphony of the Night, this is the enemy that drops the Crissaegrim, which is the best weapon in the game.
The Shmoo. So
you will be farming the Shmoos.
Farming the Shmoo.
He's just like a floating severed head. I don't know why he's called
Is that like wheezing the juice?
Maybe. I don't know. Final round. This is your chance to redeem yourself. And these are all, except the fake, of course, bosses within the Castlevania series. Number one, Nasty Grant. Number two, Nosferatu. Number three, Granfalloon. Number four, Frankenstein. And number five, Chicken.
I want to say Nosferatu, but because I feel like you that seems like something you just threw in there. Chicken seems like something that would be really stupid, but it has to be real.
You are correct. The chicken is a boss in Kid Dracula.
Okay.
So it is kind of stupid, but it's Kid
uh,
Dracula. Nasty Grant, I always loved the fact that this was the name of the boss battle against Grant in Castlevania
yeah.
3. And that his actual real name is Grant Dynasty,
Yeah.
but they just call him Nasty
Nasty
Grant when he's
Grant.
a bad guy.
Yeah.
Granfalloon also is a name I think is a killer reference, and I guess this only exists in the English versions. This is the same boss that's also called Legion, which is like the massive, like giant
Yeah.
ball of zombies.
Yeah. The word is just a
Um,
creature of made of other
yeah,
creatures.
but Granfalloon is itself a reference to the is it is it Slaughterhouse Five? It's one of the Kurt Vonnegut novels. He coins the term as like a meaningless like mass of people. So it's actually like a very interesting, suitable
Yeah.
reference. And yeah, Nosferatu is the fake. I was kind of doing double duty there with Frankenstein,
Yeah. But I
because
do Frankenstein.
Because Frankenstein is the doctor, not the creature. But some of the Castlevania games do call the creature Frankenstein, although
Yeah.
later ones usually do call him just the creature.
Yeah. The creature, because that's what
Um,
he is.
Nosferatu has never been in the game. That is another case sort of like that. If you know the film, there is no character called Nosferatu. The character is Count Orlok. Castlevania has had a character called Olrox, who is based on Count Olrock.
Yeah. But not.
Or Orlok, Count Orlok. I'm already mixing them up. But he's never been called Nosferatu, despite what, SpongeBob may lead you to believe.
Well, I wouldn't know that. I don't watch SpongeBob.
Well, that was like OG, like season one SpongeBob. They, for some reason, referenced Nosferatu with like a still from the movie.
Oh, nice. I
Um,
could see him doing that.
but yeah. So that is it. That is Spot the Fake. You got the final round. That's the one that matters. That was the boss battle.
That was the boss battle round, and I got it.
Yep.
I think
There you
we've
go.
learned that I'm just not. I don't remember the names of enemies in video games.
Yeah, but that's why it makes a good Spot the Fake
It does.
material.
Yeah. No, they work really good. They probably work better when there's more of us because I'm definitely not going to get them right. So that gives us more chances. Uh, Shannon seems to do better at even just guessing than I do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole meta game to guessing those things. Well, that wraps it up for our games. So we will take a break and come back with our show topic, which is the end of physical media, at least for PlayStation. Okay.
Good to go.
Are we still just going, or
No,
I
once the
forget how
music's
this
done.
works live. Okay.
No, we're
I
good.
forget how it works live. We just take a break, but don't like we usually do when we're recording.
Yeah, I mean, I think we usually have it built in just in case somebody needs to take a
The
break,
requisite asking if anybody needs to use the bathroom, and then we all say no, and
and then we just start back up.
just start back up or talk about nonsense for 5 minutes before starting back up. All right, welcome back, and we are going to be talking about the recent decision by Sony to discontinue physical discs.
Not a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think you'll find any among our lot that are really in favor. I tend to be the one who's maybe the most understanding of the appeal of digital media, but I will always be quick to say that physical copies of games are simply more valuable than digital copies. That's always been kind of the sticking point for me. What I find interesting is perhaps because of the economic pressures of the gaming industry today, we are seeing an actual price differential appear in physical and digital copies. And studios or publishers explicitly acknowledging that physical games are simply more expensive, have a lower profit margin than digital games, which is essentially the reason for this.
Yeah, I feel like there might be a little bit more understanding to it if any of that cost savings was passed on to the customer in any kind of way. Uh, but with just dropping out completely, uh, it just seems kind of like a misstep. Like if they were to come back and say, "Hey, we'll lower the price of digital media by like $5 or something like that," this would have probably not go over as bad as it has. But I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean the standard that seems to be trending is kind of a $10 difference, $10
I
less for digital.
yeah, and I think that's mainly just been for Switch, uh, and I think
Yeah,
that's mainly because of
because
the card.
Nintendo, well, and I think also because Nintendo set that themselves, and third parties, at least on Switch, have followed suit.
Yeah, but like, there's a lot more cost that goes into producing the Switch card. Uh, having its own memory and
Yeah,
everything, uh, than say pressing a disc, which even a Blu-ray disc is these days going to be pretty. I mean, we're probably still talking pennies for how many they make.
yeah,
Um,
I would honestly imagine more so than the production of the disc. There's probably much higher overhead in shipping to retail.
Logistics is definitely the big part of it that cost. But at the same time, uh, and the reason why I've always mentioned that, yeah, this really stinks. I don't like seeing any kind of physical media just completely being put away. There should always be at least the smallest bit of market left there. Even if they have to make it a very like limited edition run type thing, but PlayStation really hasn't put a full game on a disc in a very long time. So even though we all have discs on our shelf, probably from starting with PS4, maybe even some PS3 games, uh, as soon as you put that disc in, it kind of works like a key card, where it prompts a download immediately. And you cannot actually play the game in its current state on the disc without a download. So
Yeah, and particularly because so many of these games are just so much data. It would not fit on one Blu-ray disc.
yeah,
You would need to have like a stack of like 10 discs,
yeah,
read
and they
them,
got
and
away.
even then you would be writing them onto your hard drive. So it would
Yeah,
the actual playable form of the game would still be digital, but it would, I guess, at least serve as a kind of backup for you to still own it. I mean, I always go back because my secondary way of playing games has always been PC, other than Nintendo systems for the most part. I mean, played, I've wound up collecting like some older systems, and I've always had a PS2. But you know, in terms of modern stuff, I haven't really dabbled with it. So I've been kind of disconnected from the PS3 on in terms of those other systems. Um, but in the PC world back in the like 2000s, this was how games worked. You had a CD key, you had to install, and eventually, that just transitioned to downloads off the internet to get the
Yeah,
rest of the data.
a lot quicker even.
But even like back when the game was on the CD-ROM, it was effectively a key. The
Yeah,
install was your computer writing that data onto the hard drive, and all putting the CD did for you was unlock that copy of the game.
yep.
And there were some games that let you just boot the game afterwards without having to pop the disc in, but most didn't, as a anti-piracy
Yeah, they were
measure.
still using it as a key to run the game even. And a lot of times they were still spinning the disc. I
Yeah,
know my
at least at,
buddy,
at startup.
my buddy had a copy of Diablo 2 explode in his disk drive because he played it for too long, got too hot.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. That's it's kind of respect in a way. Like,
Yeah. I remember too, like he was like, "Yeah, I got to buy a new copy because mine kind of poof." I think I think it was Diablo 2. I might be misremembering. It was either that or like the things that we would have been playing back then would have been Diablo 2 or Roller Coaster Tycoon or Warcraft, 2 or 3. It was one of those games that we were putting mega hours into. His disc kind of didn't make it.
and so I mean, I bring all this up to say,
Uh,
like, for a long time, physical media has kind of been an illusion. The point at which I realized this, for PC, was when the last physical PC game I bought. I remember, I think I just ordered it from Amazon or something. I had like a pre-order on Fallout 4, and I got the disc. I got an actual disc. I put it in because my PC has a disc drive, which, and that's another thing. You build a PC these days, a lot of people don't bother
I don't
having
have
disk
one.
drives in them. And after about like 20 seconds, it just pops open Steam and starts downloading it. And
Oh,
I'm like,
nice.
oh, like it literally just
Like
as
that.
part of the automatic installation process, just prompts me to log into Steam and begins the download, because that's all the disc
Nice.
was. The disc was a download key.
It's like the cardboard you buy for Switch games at
Well,
Target.
and it makes sense if that's what you're going to do, integrate it into the most popular PC gaming platform.
Yeah.
Um, Makes perfect sense.
But yeah, that's kind of where, I really like having the cases, the game cases on my shelf. Like I like to be able to look over there. I've even owned, at one point in time, I've probably had 100 PS4 games. I've got a bunch of PS5 games over on the shelf. I like having the physical identity of them being there, but in reality, there won't be once the shops shut down. I won't be able to play any of those games using those discs, uh, unless I have found a way to back them up locally.
Well, will you actually not be able to play them, or will you not be able to re-download them?
I don't think you'd be able, well, if you didn't already have them, but even
Because
our
at least the way most of these work, like if it's already installed, now if you delete that, if you run out of hard drive space, you delete that,
when you
you'll
when you
find that you can't
have
re-download it.
when you have 100 PS4 games on disc, they don't make a hard drive big enough to have all of those that goes in a PS4.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna have a bunch of discs that I don't have at least the necessary day one patch to play them. Or even, I mean, most of them require additional downloads. It's not even a day one patch. It's just the disc itself only had, 10, 20, 30% of the game even on it in the first place. You just have to download the rest of the
Yeah.
game.
And in that case, it's truly unplayable. I mean, I
And
think
that's
people
most of
run
them.
to the word unplayable a lot of the time, but like there's only 20% of the game is on the disc, and there's some nasty bugs that were patched day one that you'll just have to deal with if you can't download the
If you want to
patch.
play and I don't even know if it might even be something to where if you can't download the rest of the game, it might not even let you play the portion you have on the disc.
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
sure how
I
that
mean,
works.
depending how they partitioned it, it's probably
Yeah.
not, just
Yeah. It's going to say it's
late
missing
game maps
files.
floating in. It could be, what they left out was, you know,
What's needed to run the game.
something that's essential,
Yeah. That's what I'm
right?
saying. So a lot of the discs in their current form are, going to be coasters one day. There's really not a lot we can do with them. Uh, PS5, forget about it. Every single game made for PS5 is going to be requiring some kind of download. Uh, I mean, it's going to be the last, physical media to lose its downloadability from the shop, just because it will be the last physical disc console, according to Sony at this point in time. So you'll have some time before you have to worry about it. But literally every disc that they ever printed for PS5 will require some kind of download. I've never put a game in my PS5 that didn't make me download something for an hour, and that's with
Yeah.
you know gigabyte internet. You're going to be downloading at least like 100 gigs of something to play just about every game.
Well, and I mean, it's one of those things too. You don't know how long the support will be. Presumably, this puts a lot more incentive on Sony to keep that store open as long as they can. Um, Obviously, that's at cost to them. They have to weigh that, like, is this going to affect people's willingness to buy games in the future? Is this going to, I don't know if they even care so much about the bad publicity. It's really like, does this actually translate to a lack of sales in the future for us going forward? And I mean, I don't have their numbers, I don't have their stats. Because the thing is, we have to reckon with, a lot of people were already buying digital. A lot of people were already ignoring physical. There are a lot of people with PS5s who probably don't buy any games. If they spend money, it's on
Yeah,
V-Bucks.
yeah, Fortnite stuff like that.
It's on microtransactions.
Uh,
And obviously the industry would love more of that.
And
It's
I will
very
say,
profitable.
as far as the stores go, the digital storefronts for PlayStation and Xbox, they're probably better as far as keeping those things alive. And I think it's mainly just because they've been using the same storefronts for the whole time of having digital storefronts. It's always been the PlayStation Store, PSN or whatever. They've called it a few different things, but the main structure of it's been the same. It's not like the Wii, whenever they went to the Wii U, it went transitioned to a totally different shop, So everything on the Wii, once they shut that store down, it's dead. Same way with
Yeah.
the Wii U in the 3DS. That version of the eShop died, even though we're still using this something called an eShop on the Switch. It's not the same as 3DS and Wii U. So those shut down and died. PlayStation hasn't really done that. You can still go on the PlayStation Store and buy PlayStation 3 games today from that same era as the Wii
Hmm.
to a certain capacity. I don't think they're all. They've probably decommissioned a lot of games, but there are still some PS3 games you can go buy. Uh,
Well,
there
and
even
I
used to
bring
be
this up every
PS2
time.
classic ones.
I bring this up every time we talk about like digital games in terms of preservation. Like, I've had a Steam account since 2010. I am still able to re-download some of the first games I bought on Steam. I am still able to re-download games that were among the first games to come to Steam. There have been games delisted. By and large, they are not games I care about. And even games that have been that have actually been removed, I was still able to re-download that I owned.
Yeah,
So
before.
like pure delisted, like actually a case with Neverwinter Nights 2, which is one of the first games I bought on Steam, I think. Um, that game was removed from Steam at some point. It was no longer for sale, but if you owned it, you were still able to re-download it.
Yeah.
And I think it was because it was eventually replaced with the enhanced edition, I believe, was really the reason for that. Now, PC also has the benefit of there generally being ways to run old games even as operating systems move forward. That's generally there is not that level of compatibility between consoles. But at the same time, I think we're seeing in recent console generations, new consoles are very similar to the old ones.
Yeah.
Um, PS5, 4, 3, Xbox, whatever their naming scheme even is anymore, One X, 360,
Don't try to even make sense of
back
it.
to all that. But even like Switch 2 to Switch 1, it's kind of the same architecture, at least as the impression I get. Um, so I think as far as the preservation aspect, I think people tend to. Granted, I don't think this is a good thing at all, but the preservation aspect, I think people overstate the importance of physical. They underestimate that I think digital has certain advantages,
Yeah.
technologically speaking. Now, the biggest hurdle to digital game preservation is not the limitations of digital technology, it's the limitations of the
Storage.
legality of backing up your own game,
Yep.
or not even really the legality. As best I can tell, I'm not a lawyer, not legal advice. Backing up your own game is perfectly legal. It is also perfectly legal for the developer to make it hard to do. And they have incentive to make it hard to do because anybody who can copy a game onto a second device can also easily distribute that game in an unlicensed manner to people who did not pay the person who actually made it and owns the
Yes.
property. In other words, piracy.
Well, this is
So,
something that doesn't usually happen for quite a while after, but for the common person to be able to do. Uh,
no.
but they do figure it out.
Yeah, and even those measures often do get cracked, and the types of measures that get implemented can often make a game run worse as well. Anti-cheat software typically hits game performance pretty hard in a lot of cases. That's the main reason a lot of people hate it. It's not because they want to cheat, and it's
Yeah,
not because they want to
it's because the
pirate the
one
software.
the
It's
one
because
person
it
ruined it
affects
for everyone.
performance. Yeah, essentially. But I mean, that's where the developers themselves have to weigh that risk. They have to, you know, same reason nobody likes going through airport security, right? How much of it is necessary? Well, there are plenty of people who can go into that.
Oh yeah.
Probably not most of it. It didn't used to be that way either. But so I mean, there's the preservation loss, which I think is overstated, but it is, I mean, obviously having physical copies is a way of backing things up. Um, but since they haven't really operated as true backups in a long time, this is
No.
nothing new. I think the other thing you're losing is there are people who maybe have difficulty getting the downloads, right? That's still the case. Physical games offer a much more accessible way for them. And then there are people who just like having stuff to put on the shelf.
Yeah.
Um, that's something that's never really appealed strongly to me. And I do find it interesting that game key cards get so much flack when they do at least address that. You still have an object to put on your shelf.
It it seems kind of weird that they wouldn't try to run like a like I said, some kind of limited run uh version of their physical marketplace where they say, "Hey, we're going to basically allow pre-ordering of this game for like up to 6 months." And
Mm-hmm.
then once all those orders are done, we're not going to release this game any longer in a physical capacity. Uh, they could charge more for it for one. We could see, you could do similar to what's happening with the Switch right now, where they do like a $10 increase on these orders. But it would still allow those who are really wanting physical media to have a window of getting it. Uh, and they
Well,
wouldn't
and
be on the.
I think you also have to examine how much more expensive would it be? Because I think we only saw this kind of like price reduction of digital as kind of a bandage over the fact that game prices themselves were going up.
I don't know that it's a price reduction either. There isn't anything that says that this is a reduction and not an increase on physical.
Well, exactly. The physical did go up. You know,
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing that
we can
says,
say the digital is $10 less, but we're talking about digital games costing $60 when the physical costs 70.
but yeah, and none of these
Physical games
games,
used to only cost 60.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. None of these games existed before the change, right? So all the games that were impacted by the change happened after the change was instated. So we have no idea if Yoshi and the Mysterious Book was going to be a more expensive game and you're getting a deal on it for digital, or if that digital price is the price that it was always going to be and they just charge $10 more to do
Well,
physical.
yeah, and in general, I mean, game price. Not every game is really of equal value anyway. Now we've tended to have a very flat pricing model, where every new game is roughly $60. I've always been championing the idea of varying game prices
Yeah,
more, just to allow for more like smaller projects so that you don't have to feel like some quirky little rhythm game needs to have all this additional content to
try to fill
justify
out
a
to be a
$60 price
$60.
point.
Yeah.
um and I think especially with prices going up, I think you're going to see more games fall in that category. And especially just how many games come out today and as a pure value proposition just look bad next to Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yeah.
Like, that game is higher value than most of the $70 games coming out, in my opinion.
It, and I think that that's the biggest thing. Obviously, they want to make more money, right? But they also are trying to say that nobody's buying these physical games when they put them out there. So, if they were to do some kind of limited run of certain titles, maybe not even every title, but just especially first party titles where they have complete control over this, do, like I said, do a limited amount. If it's pre order only, those are all guaranteed sales. You don't have to worry about whether they're going to go sit somewhere or not. Um, they're obviously not worried about having a floor presence at a store, right? If they're willing to give up physical discs altogether, they're really not going to be worried about having that presence at like a Target or a Walmart or whatever. In the same way that like Nintendo is, they're
Mm-hmm.
very forward about wanting their presence in stores. They want everything to be Nintendo. They want Mario everywhere in that store. That's why he's on cereal boxes and he's, on clothes and all
Yep.
this stuff. That's very important to them. Sony and Xbox are not like that. You go to the store now, and the only thing they have for sale in their areas are their consoles that aren't selling because they
Well,
just
and
got price
I
increases.
think that really points back to, Nintendo has the mentality of a toy company
They
at the
do.
end of the day. And Nintendo understands. I mean, Nintendo's total revenue is still nothing compared to Microsoft and Sony as
No,
total companies, because they have so much more than just their games business, for one.
I would
But Nintendo understands that they own some of the most valuable intellectual properties in the world.
as it gets close as Nintendo is growing their business outside of just video games. I'd say it's probably closer than we would ever imagine nowadays. Uh, I mean, they will never be as profitable as Microsoft just because
No, I
Microsoft
mean,
is doing.
Microsoft is
But
that. Well, part of the reason I think the Xbox brand is the way it is because Microsoft as a whole can just let Xbox fail,
oh,
and it
yeah,
doesn't even affect their bottom line.
it's a wart at the end of the day if it
This
turns
is a
it.
little side
They
project
just
for
burn it
them.
off if it doesn't survive.
It's a tax write off for them,
Yeah.
is what it is.
But as far as like Sony and Nintendo, I mean, Sony sells TVs and, some more electronics type things, but I would say that just judging by the cost, or the price that we pay for TVs nowadays, the margins
Well,
have
I
to
mean,
be way more
even then,
slim.
I mean, Sony's pretty big because Columbia Pictures is Sony. So Sony's big in film as well.
Yeah, it makes me wonder though how big are their films nowadays though? Because right now they're only known for having film flops that don't sell
Well, they've
anything.
been flopping for a while,
That's what
yes.
I'm saying. And then you look at
Somehow
Nintendo.
the fact that the company has remained solvent despite that should tell you they're pretty big.
Yeah, I just would be curious to see like, I mean, Nintendo's got theme parks now, and they've just grown so much
That's true.
outside of video games that in they own an IP that is probably larger than Mickey Mouse at this point in time. There's probably more kids that know who Mario is than Mickey Mouse. And that's a very powerful thing
There's definitely
for
more
them.
kids who know who Pikachu is.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's probably even a better comparison. And Nintendo is a, larger stakeholder than the rest of those in Pokemon as well. So, uh which is, I mean, when you put those two together, that's got to be quite a bit of money there. That's what I mean. They've grown a lot. So I'd be
But
surprised
yeah,
to
I mean,
see.
to your point, you go to stores now, and sometimes the actual game section is quite empty.
Oh man, it's if I feel bad for Xbox. I feel like the same 5 Series X's have been sitting on the shelf for like a half a year. Ever since they went up the first time, nobody has purchased an Xbox in my town, and now
Hmm.
have gone up again. Uh, so the Series X that I own is now worth like $800 or something like that, or $900. That nobody will ever buy it though. It's worth that much.
Well, and I mean, I go back to the idea of how much more expensive are they going to make the physical option, supposing they see a physical. Because what we see with companies like limited run games is the physical option, especially where that's the only physical option. It is a premium item
Yep.
for collectors. It is not meant to be how most people
They
experience the game.
I mean, they do sell both options, right? Limited Run always has just the game. Like you could buy just the game and it's a markup of probably 25%, usually something around that ballpark. It's more than the $10 that we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it's just the game. You're going to pay a little bit more, but it's not the 100 to $300 premium edition ones that come with all the stuff. Uh, and this is where I was kind of pointing PlayStation and Xbox to, that there's still that crowd that wants that physical stuff. So even if you were going out of your way to make physical bundles of, special editions that include a disc, because that's another thing too, is I feel like we've kind of been conditioned to not get the disc because here lately a lot of the special editions of these games that are being put out by PlayStation and Microsoft, they don't even come with the game anymore, like physically. You get a
Yeah.
code, or or maybe not even the game at all. Sometimes they'll sell you something that just has extra stuff and you don't even get the game. You're just buying the extra stuff. But you could take that same market that's out there looking for that and transition it to selling a physical copy of the game. That's something that does exist. Uh, will they do it? I don't know. I don't know if they kind of figure out some way to backpedal this a little bit. They certainly don't have to. I think they could die on this hill. I just don't know what kind of. I guess it just depends
Yeah,
on how
in the
serious
past
people
they
are.
they talked about closing the PlayStation store for classic stuff, right? And they backpedaled that
PS
after people complained.
a couple times, but they're also back to that again. The
Yeah.
PS3 is about to be done for real this time, supposedly. Um, I don't know. I also think that somewhere in the background of all this, Xbox has been trying to figure out a way to use Sony's getting out of discs as a way to hop back into a portion of the market that they're not controlling at the moment.
To do exactly to Sony as Sony did to them
Exactly. If
in
they
in
could
a
figure out a
generation past.
way, yeah, if they could figure out a way to come out and say, "Hey, we're going to have discs, uh, and we're going to figure it out," that would, I think, that would maybe put pressure on Sony to try to figure something out themselves. But that would require Xbox to be, somewhat smart, uh,
Yeah.
and not letting
They don't
people
have enough
down
incentive
monthly.
to be smart.
I was gonna say, right now they
They
just
don't
seem
have
to
enough
be a
incentive
tub
to
of
be
bad
smart.
news across the board. It's to the point where when just the gaming as a whole is bad news. You just you look out there and it's not. Oh, it's like, oh, everything's going up. We're not going to have physical discs anymore. Uh,
Well, and
Nobody's
that
making
does kind
games.
of it's a trend we see in a lot of, you know, especially entertainment, but just consumer end products is instead of reaching more people, the idea seems to be let's find ways to
Milk the ones that
develop
do exist.
to develop premium products for our most dedicated fans or
Yep.
wealthiest fans. And so I think the approach why you see collector's editions but not physical games is because to them it's, well, if you can't afford more than this, you need to be, then we have the digital product for you. But if you are willing to spend more, let's offer the highest, uh, I guess what they believe is the highest quality thing. Now, why even the special edition doesn't have the actual disc on it, I can't tell you. You would think they would at least do that, but I guess they figure that that cut cost allows them to offer it at an attractive enough price point to the people they think want to buy it, uh, at an acceptable profit margin to them.
Yep.
I mean, that's ultimately what I think it has to come down to. You know, presumably to meet their, targets. Now, again, the thing about pricing is you don't actually know, because these products aren't interchangeable, because games are not, game A is not equivalent to game B. You can't really say, oh, these people would have bought the game if it was $5 cheaper, or these people
No.
would have bought the game if a physical was available.
Yeah. There's no way to prove
You
one
don't
side
have
or
a
the
way to
other.
prove that. People can say that, but people often say things and then their purchases don't back it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a large portion of people that are upset about this that have probably been buying digital games, for
Yeah.
the last however long, and now they're getting their pitchforks out, just because it's not no longer an option to go the other way. Uh, but we have to remember that we drive a lot of the decisions that these companies make. Uh, They look at it as a threshold, right? Once you hit a certain percentage of digital sales as your whole sales, it's safe to flip that switch completely. Well, over the last 20 years that we've been able to buy digital media from these companies, it's slowly been tipping that needle closer to where everything is digital. And I mean, we don't have anyone to blame but ourselves by buying it.
Yeah.
And we've now hit a point where
Well,
whenever they're
my
like, hey,
position. My
90% of
position
our
has always
sales.
been if you want me to buy the digital, it needs to be cheaper than the physical. Now,
Yeah.
my hope was that would be, we would be getting $40 digital games,
Well, like I said,
but,
they're not going to pass on the
and
savings to us. They're just going to make more money when they do this.
well, I mean, games got more expensive to make, but again, the pricing is weird because not every game costs the same to make, yet we generally expect them to cost the same to buy.
Yeah, and I mean, I've talked about this a million times. I don't have an issue with the cost of a game rising because it costs more to make a game over time. I'd much rather see good games come out and good people keep their jobs, uh, especially now that with all the stuff we hear about nowadays. Uh, Now, I also would like to see less games come out as a result of it, and maybe more time be put into certain games. Uh, but the cost of a game relative to what it takes to make it and the amount of effort from studios it can be kind of we see on both sides. We see stuff
Well,
like,
and it's
as you
it's
keep
also the case
mentioning.
that just because something cost more to make doesn't mean it's actually of higher value to me as somebody who
Exactly.
wants to play it.
Well, and I think you've given the perfect example several times. We look at games like Silk Song that came out and it's $20. There are plenty of $60 games that are not going to even come close to the quality that that game has, or even length of the game. The content that's being provided at $20. Um, so
Well, not to
that
mention like game development is a strange process. Like I get it. I'm not saying that they should have abandoned the project entirely or something, but the fact that Metroid Prime 4 had to restart development shouldn't raise the end price of the game.
no,
Like, at the end of the day, like Nintendo just has to eat that cost.
yep,
If they
I agree.
developed a half a game that just wasn't gonna be worth publishing, then that's their problem. They've got to recoup that by making whole games that are worth publishing that sell well.
The other problem to it is that we don't, as a customer, you have to feel like you have even less control over this just because you see companies bring these games out and they're considered successful. Lots of people have bought them. They've sold millions of copies, and then these studios will let people go anyway. So, whatever, as a customer, when you really feel like you have no way to support or help these causes out, I mean, what do you do? It's like uh, it's really hard to kind of point to a way that you can support in a lot of cases. We always say, "Hey, we really like this game. Make sure everyone go buy it. Support the studios that are putting it out." But at the same time, who's to know that the money that you're using to buy that game is going to support that, studio? They might be spending it elsewhere, not on their employees.
Well, yeah, you don't get to earmark the money you spend,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
It's and I think I see there's some discussion going on in the chat. Flightsy says that don't absolve companies of all responsibility. Understand the profit motive doesn't mean you have to think it's a good thing. And I ultimately agree with that. I think where you have to understand a company that is not profitable will eventually cease to exist. Now, the more complicated thing economically is when we have publicly traded companies controlled by investors who need to not just remain profitable, but need to increase the value of their stock. That provides a different set of incentives than simply remaining profitable, versus simply, we sell our game, we make enough money back to pay all of the people who worked on the game and start the next project. Um, when you have the goal of increasing your value as a company, that's not enough anymore.
No.
Um, is that in and of itself a good thing? Probably not for consumers. Um, However, getting that level of, you could argue, I guess, that getting that level of resource together, building that scale of an enterprise at which that kind of economics becomes necessary is how we get AAA games versus indie games.
Yeah.
Again, you have to weigh that against, like, well, are indie games actually producing what I want more than AAA studios? Oftentimes, for me, it seems like they are.
I think it's also the kind of games that we play
But even indie games often rely on larger companies to
to back them.
publish them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Flightsy does bring up something that is uh, kind of a different stance to look at it as, because he says that he doesn't understand why anybody would buy a PlayStation 6 because you could just go to Steam for free. I I mean, I guess it's free if you already own a PC that can play the games that you're wanting to play on Steam. And I think that that's where
I have thought similar things, that, like, the people buying a PS5 to play Minecraft, like, you don't need a PS5 for
no,
that.
no, no, no. Yeah, no. Something like that would be how you get to his statement. If you're going to play Minecraft, or something like Fortnite that could be played on a phone, you know, it's
Yeah.
it's not something where, I mean, yes, you consider that free. Almost everybody has a PC that's capable of playing something like that in their house, or on their phone. But if you're wanting to play something that uh, would require a PS6, power level wise, not everybody's going to have that kind of PC in their house.
Especially now with the price of RAM. But then
Yes.
again, the PS6 is probably going to cost you an arm and a leg
Oh, it's going to be a
because of the
thousand
price of
dollars.
RAM.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
I mean,
I
I
don't know that I
have,
would say free.
as a mid-level PC person, I have always been quick to point out you can actually find Valve's stats on Steam users, and the average Steam user has a pretty low-grade PC. I think sometimes maybe it's the enthusiast gamer space. You only talk to PC people who try to pitch PC as the absolute pinnacle of performance is
Yeah,
possible on PC. And then the console gamers reply is, yeah, I don't have $6,000. But I think for most people, I mean, for me, the appeal of PC has always been, got a laptop for school and it can play games.
yeah,
So the games I can play on it, I'm going to play on it. Most people, I think, own, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess with phones and tablets, maybe a lot of people don't have even a laptop. Um, but that's always been, I've always struggled to see the appeal of, like, tablets or even the Steam Deck, because to me, PC gaming has always been leveraging a device you already have for other reasons to play games.
I think that's what I mean. That's what it used to be. Uh, the point behind a Steam Deck, I think, is just the portability of it, of you being able to have a PC in your hands. Uh, Same way with a tablet or something like that, if that's the route you want to go. I guess I just thought it was funny that he was saying you can go to Steam for free. That's kind of like saying,
Well, yeah,
uh,
it absolutely assumes you have a Steam compatible device
exactly.
of some kind.
It's like people are like, "Oh, the free PS Plus games for this month," and I'm like, "They're not free. You pay for PS Plus. And if you don't pay for it anymore, they go away. They're not actually yours." So, uh, are
Yeah,
people same people that say
he's in the
free on
same boat
Game
as
Pass?
me. Not running into issues playing Steam on a laptop that you got for school. I mean, it depends what you're playing. But like when I was in college, this is right when League of Legends started blowing up. Everybody was playing League of Legends, and one of the things about League of Legends
It's not very
was
resource
it
demanding.
had very low system requirements
Yeah,
because I think they were catering to college students who had non-gaming laptops that they were, like in my case it was my graduation gift from high school, and that was my first like computer that was owned just by me. Prior to that, we had a family computer that kind of stayed in the common area of the house, and you
I
had to fight other family members if you wanted to use it for too long.
I'm just thinking that you might like if you think about it from like if you just the game of the year last year, Expedition 33, you're not going to play that
Mhm.
on a low end PC that you bought for school. Not very well, anyway.
Maybe. I mean, the other thing I will always point out too is there's making a game run, and there's the people who think if it's not 4K 120 FPS, it's unplayable, right? In a lot of cases, you can go really far if you are somebody who accepts uh 1080p 30 frames per second. You can play a lot
Yeah,
of stuff.
I
And
don't
to
know.
me, that is playable.
You're going to get a lot of people to push back on 30 frames per second with that game, just because there's a lot of parrying and stuff uh, as playable. I'm not saying that I
Well,
would be
I
one of
suppose I
them.
suppose it's also fair to point out that I play a lot of strategy games.
Yes,
So I'm not doing timed parries
that's what I'm
in
saying.
most
So
cases.
yeah, I would be right there with you. 1080, 30 frames is what I would deem playable. Uh, but I could definitely find a group of people that would argue some cases that's not playable, and they would have an argument, not by looks, but by how latency and how games play. I definitely would not want to be playing like Dark Souls on 30 frames a second. It's something like where you're having to constantly react to things. But yeah, no, I mean, I totally get it. I get what he's saying too. And most people are going to have a PC that can play probably 70% of games on Steam, maybe even a higher
Yeah.
percentage of that. Uh, you might not be playing them exactly how the developer intended them to be played, but
Well,
they
and
will still be playable.
for me, consistently, one of the best things about playing on PC has usually been a lot of the indie games come there first, just because it's very easy to get published on Steam.
Yeah.
They'll
If
publish
Flightsy
anything.
Flightsy says he guesses that's the answer. The PS6 is for people who want the specs, slightly less expensive than a high end PC. Uh, at one point in time, I would maybe think that it's going to be slightly less, but I have no idea how much a PS6 is going to cost.
I have
A,
no idea how much a PC costs to
a
build.
PS5 Pro is almost $1,000 now. I think it's like $900. Uh,
A high end PC is going to cost way more than that. I don't know how much an
yes,
equivalent to a PS5 would cost, but
it's
even
going to be,
then,
you're going to pay
like just the
less.
RAM,
But that's what I'm saying. Today, a
yeah.
PS5 Pro is $900. How much do you think a PS6 is going to be? That's you might easily add another $300 to
Well,
that.
you got to figure out what inflation is doing too.
Well, I don't think inflation's going away before a PS6 comes out. So I
Well, that's what I'm
imagine
saying.
it might even be more
But
expensive by then.
it
It
could
could double.
increase exponentially.
Yeah. So we might be
We
looking at a
could
$1,500 PS6 by the
we could
time
be
this rolls
burning
around.
dollar bills for warmth by that point.
It could be, yes. But yeah, no, I definitely, with the rising cost of RAM and all the things that go into it, there's just no telling. I think there's a bubble there that has to kind of burst. At some point, I think developers are going to have to realize that it may be worth having, instead of this one AAA project that takes 5 years to do, maybe split that team up into like 3 teams and build 3 slightly smaller, maybe AA games that have a better chance of success, especially if you can hit 2 of them out of the park and one of them fails, is a lot different than putting 5 years into a game, having it go uh,
I mean
into
that's what
into
I think,
service for
but
2 weeks
it
and then
doesn't
get
seem to
pulled.
be the way the industry is going. And
Well,
they dump all their what I already forgot the name. What's that big flop shooter that was
that's
like
what I was just gonna.
instantly
That's what I
canceled?
was getting at. Concord. It was the
Concord.
PS live service game that they put out. It lasted 2 weeks. It was a game that took like years to develop. It was a big AAA shooter. They didn't gain anything from that. They lost all that money. And if they, like I said, if they could have
And
pulled
I
that
mean
team
that's
into,
yeah. Like everybody's chasing we want to be the next we want to be the next Fortnite, or we want to be the next like I don't know. Shouldn't it be more realistic to say we want to be the next Stardew Valley? I
well,
mean, the
yeah.
game
I
was
mean,
made by one guy.
the problem is that a lot of these companies are chasing that trend because they think that that's where the sure thing is. But
Well, and
that's
we
just
do
it. A
see
trend is never
a
a sure
whole
thing.
bunch. Yeah, we see a whole bunch of. I mean, my point of Stardew Valley is not make a farming sim game, but it's the
Look for
fund a
something
bunch
that
of promising
surprises
small
people.
projects because one of them is going to be a hit, instead of we're going to dump everything into. And maybe
Well,
it's just that like that business mindset of they almost, it sounds so bad, it's very cynical, but like Concord of course will succeed, not because we know anything about what constitutes a good video game, but because we're going to throw so much money behind
exactly.
it to promote it.
Well, and the biggest problem is whenever you're chasing a trend like that is, especially in the gaming industry, trends never last 5 years. So if it takes you 5 years to develop a game, you're already behind the next trend that's coming up, and you're already
Well, and
missed the boat.
is if that isn't the problem of the game industry now. Trends don't last 5 years, but game development takes 6.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's no point in even trying to chase a trend. Fortnite was an anomaly. Like it got lucky, and everyone else is trying to find that. Uh, you're just not going to find it out there. And it's also taking up such a massive part of that space that it's really hard to get people to peel out of it to go play something that's similar, but maybe not even going to be as good.
No, I've had that problem. I can't get into any farm. I can't even get into Harvest Moon anymore because Stardew Valley exists, and there's
Yeah.
just
I
more
mean,
to do in it.
that's a thing too. Uh, anyway, yeah, no, we've gotten way, way off topic, but
Yeah, we're not. It's not really about the physical anymore, but
exactly. Yeah. But
I think the value proposition is what it comes down to.
it is, and I mean, at the end of the day, these businesses are there to make money, and I fully understand that. Um, they're going to try to make moves that maximize their margins every time. They're and going digital is 100% about maximizing margins. There's you don't have to, you take logistics out of it, you take having to make the actual physical media out of it. Um, it also doesn't help that
Yes and no.
they're looking at taking they've already started doing this. They've already started converting their Blu-ray manufacturing over to data centers for AI to make money on that
Hmm.
region as well. Uh, So they're looking at it as
Well,
a win-win.
yes and no, because maximizing margins can be counterproductive. I have to assume that the people making these decisions know this. Just because you make more money on each copy sold does not mean you are making more net profit if the result is you selling fewer copies.
Yeah, but
And so
that's why they waited.
if that's why you don't raise prices indefinitely. You try to find the price that produces the maximum total profit. So you want an attractive price such that however much whoever isn't willing to pay that much is balanced out by the number of people who are willing to pay that much extra.
I totally think this boils down to timing on PlayStation's part. There's a reason why we're getting this now, and that reason is they believe that they're at a 90% digital. They also believe
Yeah.
that they don't have a competitor anymore because Xbox has had a failed console cycle
Yeah, they don't think
two
about
cycles
Nintendo.
in a row, and they don't think about Nintendo as a direct competitor. Uh, so this is like their perfect timing. They also can throw this out and look really bad for like a couple days, and then Xbox will come out and do something that makes them, they look even worse. And it never, they never fail to surprise me at how bad they can look with some of the decisions they make. Um, like I said, it just seems like it's a pool of bad news, and some of them are worse than
Well, I
others.
think we didn't even get to the part where I would probably get the sauciest, which is that instead of having your physical old copy, you will be expected to buy the remake, the digital remake
Oh
on
yeah.
every new maybe they've done same gen remakes before,
Well,
haven't
this
they?
is yeah, and this is even the Square Enix right now what we're dealing with everywhere where they'll be like, well, we're going to release the Switch 2 version of this game, but there's not going to be an upgrade path. You have to buy it full price again just to play the same game. In most cases they're not even there's no extra content. It's just a fidelity upgrade overall. And I that's got to come to a head at some point where people have had to stop buying these in any kind of real numbers that they used to, because we've just been seeing the
Yeah,
same
I'd be
thing over and
surprised if
over
they
again.
do.
There's no way that they could be still selling. Like, look at Octopath. There's no way that everyone just went out and bought that for Switch 2 just because it exists. Everyone had to be thinking about it like in the same way, like, well, how much better can this really look on a Switch 2 uh, versus the
Well,
Switch 1?
but I mean, at that point, you aren't differentiating in those numbers between people who just bought the Switch 2 version and people who bought both versions,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, if there was an upgrade path for sale, they could see how many people were upgrading.
Yeah, they could.
Um, but as it is, you can't even tell. Maybe there are people who are buying both, but I mean, all you have is this many Switch 2
Sold.
copies, this many Switch copies.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately they just don't think about people buying both. I mean, they now why it's so difficult to have the upgrade path, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. I mean, we just got news today that Witcher 3 is providing everybody a free upgrade path to their remaster if you already own the
And this
game.
is again one of those things where since I've brought up PC so many times, it seems like PC has just been ahead on addressing the problems that come with this, at least giving some upsides.
Yeah.
But when you get a new PC, when you rebuild your PC, when you upgrade your graphics card, Steam and the developers of the games I buy do not charge me extra money to run my games that I already own at higher settings.
Correct.
That would be
Uh,
ridiculous. And
yeah.
yet consoles have trained us to accept this as the expected thing.
Yep.
Perhaps there is,
I mean,
technical
there is
reasons for
some.
compatibility.
Well, there's some differences too. Anytime we get a remaster or something of that nature, there's still work put in to create that. There's cost generated. You getting a upgraded video card didn't cost the manufacturer anything. That was you deciding you wanted a better video card. They didn't actually
Yeah.
go back and change the game in any way. Uh, these Switch 2 ports or anything like that, they actually cost money to make. Like somebody had to do something to produce them. I think that's where the difference lies there a little bit. Now, granted, some of these might not be a change at all, other than they just put it on a Switch 2 card. Some of this might be just relying on the Switch
Oh, if
2 to
it's a
generate
digital
more
game,
power.
then there is no difference.
Well, it's a different SKU though, is what I'm saying. So they're trying to tell you that they've done something differently, especially in Square Enix's case where they're not even giving us a path
Yeah.
to consider them to be the same. They're trying to come out and say, "Hey, this is a brand new version of the game. We've done something special to this to create it. That's why they don't work together." Uh, that's different than you upgrading your video card and just running the same game at a higher graphical setting. In their mind, I'm not saying that that is 100% the difference every time because, like I said, I guarantee there's
No, I
even
mean
on
just
Square's side, they're like, "Hey,
and that goes
buy the
back to
Switch
where
2
some of
card."
it is like if people are conditioned to accept it, we'll just keep another one of those things is paying for the privilege of playing your game online. That's not something you do on PC unless it's an MMO, unless it's a like persistent server that's on all
Yeah.
the time when you're not playing.
Consoles do a lot of things that PC is dropped a long time ago just to try to promote player base, and it works. So many more people play PC uh, at any given time than most console games, I would say.
Well, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Probably first among them being that a lot of consoles are harder to get worldwide, whereas pretty much anywhere that has electricity, you can get a PC.
Yep. Well, do we want to hit some? I don't even know. I didn't post anything for Community Couch. I know we did have some
I think we
folks.
just have the live chat.
Yep.
We did have some people talking about it, but I did not make notes. So
We did have, and I brought something to the table. This was kind of a poor week with low attendance to get a lot of good examples. Uh, but the informant asked, "What are some good kind of budget retro games to look for at gaming conventions or
mm,
retro shows?" So I did grab just like some staples from my collection. There's a good chance that he could have some of these because they are somewhat popular. But I tried to kind of go through and just grab a game out of some of the collections that I own. Uh, so the first game that I have here is for the Game Boy, and it is Tracks. It's like a cool little shooter where you're a little tank. It's really kind of more of an adventure game than a shooter, but uh, and it's relatively affordable. I think right now it looks like it's going for $38 loose on price charting. But definitely one that I recommend if you don't already own. Uh, the next game is another Game Boy game, Solomon's Club. This is a classic puzzle game. Uh, there are ways to play this outside, but if you are looking to just add a game to your collection that's cool for Game Boy, it's also really affordable at $20 loose. And then I grabbed for Game Boy Color, I have Harvest Moon for Game Boy Color. This is actually a really good version of Harvest Moon, portable version. Uh, looks like it is $38 loose, but it's another one that I can highly recommend. For Super Nintendo, I grabbed Super Bomberman 2. This is a classic. It's a great multiplayer game. My kids even like playing this with me. If you can also pair this with a multi-tap, if you can find one while you're there, then you can play 4-player Bomberman. But Bomberman 2, Super Bomberman 2 Loose is $38. Game Boy Advance, I grabbed Fantasy Star Collection. This is Fantasy Star 1 and 2, uh, which are just their ports for the Game Boy Advance. These do have like a little bit of enhancements. You still don't get the map, which is like the big thing that you're missing from Fantasy Star 1. Uh, but you can always have fun like I did and grab graph paper for Fantasy Star 1.
Doesn't the Sega Ages
Yes,
version
for the Switch.
have? Yeah.
But if you just wanted to grab
Yeah.
a cool Game Boy Advance game to have on your shelf or in your collection, it is $30 loose. Uh, for GameCube, this is a very easy game to find, but very fun. This NHL Hits 2002.
Mm,
This is
yeah.
a basically the hockey version of NFL Blitz. This one for the GameCube is really good though. Like I loved this game. It is very arcadey.
I
Uh,
played a lot of that actually
yes, this is a
back
good
in the
one to
day.
have, and it's only like $14 if you can find it complete at the show. It's a really good game. Uh, for Genesis, I grabbed Shining in the Darkness. This is a really cool kind of dungeon crawler uh, RPG. It is kind of similar to Fantasy Star in some ways, uh, but also a really good game and really affordable. Loose, it's like $22. So that's one that's we talk about in the community quite a bit. And then last but not least, I grabbed a Game Gear game just in case you wanted to start collecting Game Gear or had a Game Gear, or even if you have an analog pocket with a Game Gear adapter. There's all kinds of ways to
Like
play
I
these
do.
now.
I have one Game Gear game.
The one that I grabbed though is Crystal Warriors, and it is a fantastic
That's the one
strategy
Game
game.
Gear game I have.
There we go. See, we think alike. Crystal Warriors is probably one of the very few Game Gear games that I can recommend out of all the ones that I own. Uh, the Game Gear has its own shortcomings. It's basically a lot of Sega Genesis type ports that just didn't play as good as their
Yeah, that's kind
Sega
of what the Game
Genesis
Gear is.
counterparts. But Crystal Warriors does not fall into that trap. It is actually a really good strategy game that is only on the Game Gear, I believe. But yes, those are the games that I picked. Like I said, you might already own some of these or all of these, but these are definitely good budget games to add to your collection if you don't have them.
Yeah, I think it comes down to what you actually want. I mean, I personally, I only collect games I want to play. I guess there is another side of collecting if you want to fill out a certain collection, all the games on a system or all the games of a certain genre or something.
Oh yeah, and I think Dan kind of touched on that in
And what
Discord.
systems you're interested in.
It's
But
definitely hard
we've
to
definitely hit on a bunch of budget games frequently on the show, stuff like
block.
even Plock or Odama or Codename
Uh,
Steam. And part of the reason why I push those is because they are still very cheap. If you have a place to go look for retro games, you can still pick them up at a pretty low price. Solar Striker is another great one
Solar Striker
for
for
Game
Game Boy is
Boy.
a really good one.
Um,
I kind of put my list together just as a these are all pretty affordable, pretty common. Like you're probably going to see at least a copy of each one of these out there somewhere. And if you wanted to get a peek into the kind of games that I play, this is like a good list of games that I would like and you might enjoy as well. I
yeah,
don't know if you had any other ones,
sounds good to
Sam.
me. I did not put together a list. Yeah, especially like the $30 and lower price point. I think there's a lot I could recommend. So maybe I'll go through and maybe try to hit
Yeah, I
one
don't think
for
he's
each
going
system
until
like you
next
did.
month, so you might have it. You could just throw him in
Um,
Discord.
but yeah, I mean the ones I already mentioned. Again, it kind of depends like what kinds of games you like too. But like one I picked up for pretty cheap recently was Arcana on the Super Nintendo.
It's
If
a good
you
one.
if you want And it's actually a pretty good like intro dungeon crawler. Like it's actually a lot more accessible than it's not wizardry, thank
It's
goodness.
a Natsume,
It's HAL.
or HAL.
HAL,
Sorry,
yeah.
which I feel like
It
HAL usually makes
You
like some
will
pretty.
recognize the sounds of Kirby Superstar because it
Yes, you
uses
will.
some of the same sounds.
But anyway, I think we got a pretty good list there. And like I said, if you want to add some to the
Yeah,
Discord,
I'll have to make sure they're still cheap, but I don't. I know Plock's gotten more expensive.
a little bit, but I don't. It's
And
not
with
across
Odama, you
the.
have to get the microphone. And I also realize Odama is probably not everybody's cup of tea, but
At least the mic
you
is still
know,
cheap. You can still
the
find
mic
GameCube
should still
mics
be cheap.
for
But
pretty cheap.
you do have to. You might not find them together, right?
That's all part of the fun
is
of
the
it,
bigger
though.
concern. Yeah.
That's just more hunting, which is really what we like to do when we're collecting.
Yep.
Is
The
just
thrill of
finding
the hunt.
stuff. Yep.
Keep that price sticker as a trophy.
Oh, was there? Oh, okay. Hold on. We have at least one more. This is Flightsy's recommendation is Sushi Go Round, which at one point in time I give away for free on the Discord. So somebody has a copy of Sushi Go Round other than Flightsy.
Oh, the other one I always plug because it's like near and dear to me as a bargain bin pickup is Eternal Eyes for the PS1. If you just like strategy RPGs, I won't claim it's the best one, but it's like
It's good.
surprisingly competent strategy RPG that has never been expensive. That and Top Shop, also PS1. PS1 has a lot of like stuff that just nobody knows about.
Top Shop is
If you like
really
Fortune Street,
well,
play
it's really
Top Shop.
strange. I was kind of I don't own a physical copy of Top Shop, and I was looking at CGF for like a physical copy. So if you look on price charting, I think it's somewhere around like $25 is what they have it for a complete
Oh man,
box.
that's too much.
every shop that every booth that I visited had it for like $75.
What? Okay. I need to revise my
I think they're trying to like
valuation there.
they're trying to bring the price up.
Because as long as I've known about it, it's been like $7.
Yeah, it's supposed to be cheaper than what they had it at. So I passed. I seen it about 3 times. I don't think I ever saw it for less than 75. And I was like, for as much as I want this game, I will not pay $75.
Yeah.
I never did go check eBay because I don't really like it's one of those that like I wanted to just come across it and find it. But if I keep seeing it for $75, I'm probably just gonna try to hunt down a cheap eBay copy. But yeah, it's been on the list for a while. I've just never come across like I used to never see it, and then this last year I saw it a bunch, but it was just way too high. But I think that's all I've got. If you don't have anything else to add, we didn't do the couch. We read off some of Flightsy's book that he put in the chat.
Yeah, no, that's all for me. I think we could go on. We did get a little off topic, but
surprisingly, we kept we were thinking this was going to be a short show, but usually whenever it's
back.
just me and you, we can put a long show out there.
Well, the thing is that you keep going because you think you have to keep going because you can't just. I feel like when you're not talking, that's when you become the person who pushes people to the next.
Yeah.
The next thing.
Well, we also have Dan saying, "Hey, let's wrap this up. Let's go."
True.
I'm ready to get out of here. He's the
thanks
pace
for going
keeper.
on that journey with us, listeners. Thank you for listening to the RetroLogic podcast. We are proudly part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. If you like what you hear, you can check us out on Blue Sky at retrologicgames.bsky.social. And you're always welcome to jump into our friendly and 100% non-toxic Discord community. The link is in the Blue Sky bio, and you can find everything on our website, retrologic.games. Goodbye and good night.
Bye now.